It's a beautiful Monday morning, or Monday evening rather, and today is the 7th of April 2025, and we have the Champions League coming back tomorrow. The next 2 days, we're going to have the Clash of Champions, beautiful features coming ahead. Arsenal versus Real Madrid, PSG versus Aston Villa facing for the first time ever in the contest. Bayern will be hosting Inter Milan, while what is the last team again now? I've almost forgotten. No, I won't. Barcelona will be hosting Dortmund for the final 8 games that are coming up soon. Welcome to the FPL Manor podcast show. This is your host, the FPL Manor. I should have recorded this a little bit much earlier today, but I have been very, very much engaged. And finally, we are here. So I'm just going to give you guys tips on what to expect ahead of Matchday 13 for our Champions League teams, our Champions League fantasy teams. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. However, before we get started, I would like us to at least know what is going on in Champions League, know a few things going on here and there in the Champions League. But before I go forward, you have to follow me first at the FPL Manor on my X account. FPL Manor, this is where I'll give you guys more gist, more updates concerning who is injured, who is out, and who will be unavailable for match day 13. So let's start slowly. We'll start with injury updates. For injury updates, we have seen Ateta mentioned recently that Saka is available to play. Over the weekend, Arsenal players were rested. Saka, Odegaard, a few other key players who didn't start as well. Timber as well did not play. However, he is also available to start. The only player that is kind of missing out of the Arsenal first team is Gabriel, who is out to the end of the season. In case you guys didn't know, he got injured over I think one or two last week Tuesday when they played the game against Fulham, but he is out. So more on injuries data. However, let's see what my fantasy team looks like. So last time out I got 57 points, match day 12, and only Rafinha was the major guy that returned there. Rogers, Gurasi, and Balde also had their own returns. Olmo, fortunately, did not do much. He was kind of the last differential I brought in last minute instead of Yamal, who also scored double-digit points in match day 12. And currently, my rank is 22k. 22k. So I'm going to be giving more. I'm going to be gisting about what to expect from each teams. Talking about head-to-head clashes. Talking about current form, especially at home versus away. Who to consider, what the managers have said so far. So if you are not interested in all these yapping in quotes, I will put a timestamp for you to skip to the final selections where I'll pick my final team and let you guys know what I'm thinking ahead of the quarterfinals. So first things first, let's start. First things first, you guys have to know that we have reached the quarterfinals, and yet a lot of players are still going to be potentially out thanks to yellow card suspensions that are coming up soon. So if you have 2 yellow cards right now, you are still 1 yellow away from suspension. That means we should have a Premier League watch or Champions League watch where we have players that are out for suspension. So I'll do that list very soon. I'm supposed to have done that before now, but unfortunately I'm running out of time, so I'll just quickly record this and post. So I'll give you guys updates on who is out for match day 13 on my Twitter account. So whatever, these are the quarterfinalists here. As I mentioned before, we have some interesting clashes here, and Arsenal will be facing Real Madrid at home this week. Barcelona will be hosting Dortmund. PSG will be hosting Aston Villa, while Bayern will be hosting Inter. So I've yet to finish writing my article, but I'll be done before the end of today. But if I was to give our advice on what we should do ahead of match day 13, I'll say one of those moves we should make is to probably target teams who have the best home features, and I'm going to quickly look at some home fixtures here based on SofaScore. Look at who has the best home games so far this season, who has done more at home this season, at least during the Champions League phases. So if I can remember correctly, according to the Champions League stats, we have Bayern Munich. They are top of the table for home wins with 4 out of 4 home wins during the league phase, and they scored 12 goals and have about, I think, consider only 3 so far so good. So this is the SofaScore website here that I'm referencing, and we'll see those that have better home advantages. So Bayern have scored 14 goals at home 12 points and conceded only 3 goals. If you add the last game they played in the quarterfinals, or rather round of 16, Bayern won 5-0 to Leverkusen in total. And yeah, basically they have a very strong home advantage. So this week I think we should target more Bayern players. However, Bayern have some key injuries, and that involves Jamal Musiala, who is out, Alfonso Davies, who is out, Ito, who is out, Pavlovic as well. I think the only person that's somewhat a doubt is Neuer, who may or may not be available, but those are the major injuries that are out. I think maybe Upamecano too is also out for the Bayern feature. Looking at other teams who are playing at home, I'll say we should also target a team like Barcelona. But what about PSG? Paris Saint Germain have more experience in the Champions League than an Aston Villa team, who are making it for the first time into the Champions League after almost 70 years of missing out in Champions League contest, and they are into the round of 16, rather into the quarterfinals. I think Paris Saint Germain have a better stride to do better in this round after knocking out Liverpool in the round of 16, and it's better to look at Dembele, Desiree Doe, who has been making his strides into the first team recently. I think Vitinha too has made himself available for a selection among PSG assets. So those are the kind of players I'm looking forward to target this week. So basically target Paris Saint-Germain and Bayern Munich assets who are playing at home this week thanks to their home advantage. And PSG don't really have a strong home advantage. They have won, I think, 2 out of their last 5 games at home. However, they stand due to their pedigree of making it so far this contest and the way they have kicked out strong opponents. They have beaten Man City so far this season. They have beaten Liverpool in the Champions League this season. I think they'll have the pedigree to also take out another English team in the form of Aston Villa. Arsenal have some nice assets who are back. Saka is back from injury. However, Gabriel is out. I mentioned this at the start. Arteta seems very confident in making sure that his boys finally get something out of this tie. Based on head-to-head tie, Arsenal have the last time they met in 2005-2006 season, which is virtually 20 years ago, Arsenal got a 1-0 win in total. That's aggregate over Real Madrid. Can they do it this time at home at the Emirates Stadium after not clashing Real Madrid in 20 years? Or will Real Madrid, 15 times champions, knock out Arsenal? Only time will tell. But however, with Arsenal home advantage, it's safe to say this game could end in a draw or a win for Arsenal. Who knows? Anything could happen. But I think Arteta having a very nice set of players available at his hand. I think the only players that are out are Kalaifori. Okay, I forgot to mention Kalaifori. Gabriel, and some other players that in defense are regulars, but Kiwior will most likely be a starter thanks to Gabriel's absence, and we'll see Saka most likely start. The only question about Saka is how many minutes will he be awarded? Will he play 90 minutes? Will he play 120 minutes if he gets to that time? Will he play more than 70 minutes? Only time will tell. So enough yapping about the team so far. I mean, I don't need to talk about Barcelona, right? Everybody knows Rafinha has about 11 goals already in the Champions League. He's the best player to target. If you don't have Rafinha by now, I doubt you have been playing Champions League fantasy for a while. So Real Madrid and Barcelona, rather, we have Rafinha, Yamal, and Lewandowski. Those are the favorite attackers to get. Then maybe we could get a Kunde or Balde at the back in defense. So I think that will be all for now. What else will I talk about? Top captaincy picks: Harry Kane for day one on Tuesday, facing Inter. He has the most goals scored for Bayern. He has scored, I think, I saw a report where he scored 100 goals in like 75 games for Bayern. The fastest player to score about 100 goals for Bayern Munich. Let me quickly check that statistics I saw from, Okay, Harry Kane has reached 100 goal contributions for Bayern in 75 games being played. So, I mean, the stat speaks for itself. Someone that has also scored about 10 goals in the Champions League so far. He's definitely one to look out for in terms of stats for goal scorers, top goal scorers, and definitely one to look out for when Bayern host Inter. I think there's something I refuse to mention so far, and I'll just highlight it quickly before I talk about differential picks and my final 5 selections. So in terms of differential picks and final 5 selections, I noticed something. There's a trend where in the round of 16, there's a trend where innate dribblers like Vinicius Junior, innate dribblers like Rodrigo seem to have a better understanding of the game and tend to beat their man in a way where they can easily score when everybody's playing safe. And there are players that seems to always step up to the stage during the quarterfinals. And I'm looking at players like Kimmich, who is always on set pieces assisting. I'm looking at a player like Kim in defense for Bayern who could score from set pieces. I'm looking for at also innate dribblers like Vinicius Junior who are paramount to having in this round of 16 or rather quarter-final period. So I don't know. It's something that is just itching my mind for a while. So those are the players I would love to target personally my own team going forward. So these are the top goal scorers in case you didn't know. We have Rafinha topping the goal scoring logs with 11 goals. Guirassy following behind with Harry Kane on joint second with 10 goals. Lewandowski 9 goals. Haaland out of the contest and out of the season. Other players that follow are basically out. Then followed by Dembele, who's on 7 goals. So I think that's basically what I have to say for this week. Anything I have not mentioned now, just stay tuned to be most likely listed in our Champions League, our piece that will be coming out tomorrow morning by the grace of God. It's coming out as early as possible, probably 12 p.m. West African time, 11 p.m. 11 a.m. UK time. So just stay tuned for that, and you get more tips on what to do for your teams. Okay, so this is my team so far, so good. Let me zoom in a little bit. This is what my team looks like ahead of the round of 16. I keep saying round of 16. Ahead of the quarterfinals. So, who do I want to bring in and who do I want to take out? So, in case you didn't know, we have 5 transfers this round. In the first leg, as usual, then we'll have 3 transfers. In the second leg, from what it seems, I can see Dumfries is out. Pavard is tipped to play in this position, or Damian rather. Damian is tipped to play his position. I think for Inter, I forgot to mention that Bastoni and Di Marco are doubts, although they were seen in personal training and they will travel with the team. So it's yet to be seen if they'll be available. So it just shows that Inter have somewhat like a defense crisis. So I'm looking at getting in 2 Bayern players, 2 PSG assets, and 2 Barcelona players, 2 PSG assets, and 1 Bayern. So looking at that, I'm working with the fact that I might have to transfer out Olmo, the injured players, just transfer out Olmo, Salah, who's out of the context, Dumfries, I think Timber, because I already have Saliba, so maybe I might just take out Timber. And let me take out a goalkeeper as well, because I'm not sure Dortmund will keep a clean sheet against Barcelona. So those are my 5 transfers. So looking at the players I want to bring in, I think Dembele is the first midfielder I would like to get back into my team after shipping him out the previous week. So Dembele comes back in. That is one of my transfers. 2 PSGs, 2 PSG. I think Vitinha will also complete here, even though I think I would prefer Olise in this position. So let's get in Olise instead, because there's something that the manager said, that is Bayern manager. He said something that when he was asked about Yamal's asked about who is he going to use to replace Musalia. He said, I don't want to reveal much information, but we have already played without Yamal Musalia, and we can find solutions, including creative solutions, to find that we have at disposal. So in terms of creative solutions, the player that I think is the most closest to creating solutions for them in terms of creativity is Olise, or somebody has said Guerrero as a 10. So I don't know, but I think I'll back Olise in this one. So Olise comes in. So I quickly bring in Olise. See Olise here. Olise at 6.8 million comes in. In defense, I said 2 Bayern, or rather 2 Barcelona, 1 Bayern. I don't have Yamal here. God damn. Okay, let's just keep moving. I think I like Olise, but Yamal, I missed out on it last time. I'm kind of confused now. Let's bring in Yamal temporarily. Yamal has more ownership though. Let's bring in a Bayern defender. Thanks to set pieces. I mentioned something about set pieces. So let's bring in Kim, and let's bring in 2 Bayern. Okay, 2 PSG, 2 Barcelona. So the next keeper, best position will be Hakimi. Hakimi is not here. Hakimi. I would love to have Vitinha because of penalties, though. I would love to have Vitinha because of penalties. It's a doozy. This one's a doozy. Um, okay. I think my final move will be. I think I'll prefer to have Vitinha. I think I'll prefer to have Vitinha here. Okay. Looking at the schedule, right? Looking at the schedule, who plays first on Tuesday? On Tuesday, okay, and someone's going to be in goal for me. In that case, I need a keeper that plays on Wednesday. Let's just bring in Chesney. Chesney. If I bring in Chesney, I'll have to drop Yamal. Going without Yamal is crazy though. Okay, let's bring in Chesney because he has been doing well in goal for Barcelona of late. So Chesney will be my goalkeeper for day two, and I will just get in Vitinha because my God says so. So that is me going against everything I wanted to do and going three, three PSG this time because of that home advantage. Three PSG this time because of that home advantage. And yeah, those are my moves. So I'm just getting Vitinha. He was very impressive during the round of 16, so might as well. And those penalties he's taking will definitely help against Aston Villa. I think I've pretty much nailed it here. I don't know if a goalkeeper transfer is needed because I still have Gorasi up front. I don't know. I might end up shipping out Gorasi for a Hurricane, thanks to my idea of going with two Barcelona attackers. So it's still floating in the air. I might end up just ignoring Hakimi. Just ignore Hakimi, leave Gamble Timber, and just getting Hurricane here. You know, as per he has the most goals so far for Bayern Munich and has scored the most goals in the contest. So, anyways, enough brainstorming. These are my final 5 moves. Hopefully, I don't change my mind. So, I have about 6.4 million in the bank. I will be praying for Timber to start. So, Hurricane, Dembele, Vitinha, and Kim, and Chesney. So I think this makes sense. Unfortunately, there is no room for Yamal except I take a -4 and take out Merino or Rogers. But I think those guys are also excellent differentials. That takes us back to differentials. Differentials this week, I'll most likely put Rogers because of his recent performance. He has gotten about 3 assists in his last 2 games in the Premier League, and he's doing well so far. However, he has been playing every minute, so I don't know if he'll be rested or brought off early against PSG. But with PSG at home, I think they have the upper hand this week to do more damage at home before they visit Aston Villa away. Let's see how it goes. So this is what my final team looks like, and this will be the end of our show. Welcome to if you enjoyed this show and you want others to listen and hear about it, please feel free to share on all platforms, on X, on Facebook, on any other platform that you need others to see this content. And I will be posting more. Our article for the Rotobala website will be ready in a few hours, so stay tuned for more. Feel free to message me on X or Instagram, most likely on X, at the FPM1. I'll be there to answer your questions. We'll see you again next time. Until then, bye for now. Ciao.